guys, what's up? It's Drew, and welcome to another episode of Drew Reviews. Now, oh my god, I cannot believe it, but it is here. Well, it's not here yet, but Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9, the final movie of the Skywalker Saga, is coming. And I'm making this video on Wednesday. It should be uploaded by Thursday if everything goes right. So that means it's going to come out tomorrow. I know a lot of people are seeing it early. Like, people started seeing it Monday. So, like, I've been off the internet for a week. Like, I have literally been avoiding the internet. I will probably upload this now and then not even look at any of your comments just so I can avoid all these spoilers, because like I am pretty sure that there are leaks out there, and I don't even want to know people's opinions. I don't even want a no spoiler review where they're like, oh, it was satisfying or it wasn't satisfying. Like, I don't want to know. I just want to go in like completely like blind, like just my own expectations. Now, today we're just going to be talking about the Rise of Skywalker, what I want, what I don't want from it, what I'm hoping for, what I'm not hoping for. I don't want to like make too mmany I don't want to do like a prediction video where like this has to happen, this is gonna happen there, because I don't want to like think this is gonna happen, and then when it doesn't happen, I'm like, oh dang. That's why when I watch this movie, I'm gonna go in with like a pretty much open mind. Like, I'm not gonna go in with like they have to do this or they have to do that. Like, I'm just gonna watch the movie and just feel the emotion, ride along, like take the journey with the characters, and hopefully it surpasses my expectations. Because the one thing I am lacking right now in the sequel trilogy is a connection to the original 6 movies. You know, we've been focusing so much on these new characters, barely on the old, and that's definitely one of the major problems. So I hope they surprise me with the Leia footage. I hope they have a lot of that. I hope we see Luke a reasonable amount, because Last Jedi completely ruined his character. So like, if you're gonna fix him in 9, like give him screen time. Like, don't just put him in for like 10 minutes. Han Solo, I am hoping there's definitely going to be a reference, but like it would be cool if we could see him in some sort of flashback or vision. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in it, if Harrison Ford is not in it, but if he is, that would be one thing that blows me away. Like, that would be one thing that like really makes me like, oh my god. But if not, I'm not expecting that. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in it, because like he's always wanted to be done with Star Wars. That's why he died in 7. But I mean, considering it's Disney, I feel like even if he didn't want to die, they probably would have killed him anyways, because they killed Han in Force Awakens, Luke in Last Jedi, and they were just like not good deaths, if you ask me. And also, they weren't really like set up, because Han literally was on the screen for an hour and then died. He came in like almost halfway through the movie, like not halfway, a little more than halfway, but like, and he just died in one movie. Luke was only in one movie. Force Awakens does not count. He was only in one movie and then he just died. Like, it was like, come on. Like, if you're going to kill these characters, at least give them some screen time to like make you care about them again. Because like, it's like, we don't even really care about sequel trilogy character Luke, because we don't really even see him. Like, we would care about Luke if we saw him, but like, we don't even see him. So that's a disappointing factor. And another disappointing factor is Leia. Like, I mean, like, look, I'm gonna go into this. Like, I know, like, they're not gonna say anything else, but like J.J. Abrams was like saying like, we couldn't end the Skywalker saga without Leia. But meanwhile, like, she has barely done anything in the last 2 movies. So like I don't know. Like, even if she was like in it, like, you probably still wouldn't have included her anyways. But like. I mean, I'm glad that she is in it. Like, I'm glad that they found a way to put Carrie Fisher in it. That's just nice. And the fact that Carrie Fisher is going to actually have a scene with her daughter, so that's going to be really sad and emotional. I'm excited. it's like, it's weird because like a week ago when I was on like YouTube and the internet, it's like 1 week till Rise of Skywalker, and I'm like, oh shoot, like everybody's talking about it. It's like, but like I've been off the internet. I've literally been off YouTube. I've been off everything because I am avoiding spoilers. So there's like no hype that I know of except for me, because I'm not on the internet, and it's like 3 days left because, people saw it on Monday. Like critics saw it on Monday. So like, I don't care if it's a non-spoiler review. I do not want to know what any of you guys think about the movie. I don't want to know if you thought it was good, if you thought it was bad, because that's going to influence my feelings of the movie. Like, I try not to let other people's opinions influence my viewing. But if I see like an article like Rise of Skywalker is the best movie ever, then like I'm going to go into it like with really high hopes. Or like if it says it's the worst movie ever, it's gonna ruin my movie going experience, which I don't want. I just want to go in and enjoy it. I just want to like be excited, and I'm excited, but like I don't know. I don't want to think too much of it. I don't want to make all these predictions. Like there are a few things though that need to happen, and it's like they just need to happen based on what they've done. And I'll say it first off. The number one thing that needs to happen, or else this whole Disney is screwed. Anakin Skywalker needs to return. I said it before and I'll say it again. If you are bringing back the Emperor, because like you're bringing him back, like he was never part of the plan. You are literally just inserting him into this final movie, which like I don't approve of, but okay. But like, you cannot contradict the ending of episode 6. You can't just say Rey is the chosen one. You can't have anyone but Anakin kill the Emperor, because like it just totally negates everything. Like it's like, sure, he brought balance to the Force, I guess, but then it's like, okay, he only did it for like 20-30 years, then the Emperor just comes back to life, and it's like, okay, it was like for nothing. Like Luke ended up being a failure. It was just like Anakin needs to be in this movie. And like I've heard people who say like Anakin doesn't need to be in this movie. Like he did his role. He just sacrificed himself. Whatever. Like, which like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for like doing the mocking voice, but like I would have to disagree. He is the chosen one. Who was prophesied to bring balance to the Force, and like by doing that it was killing the Emperor. And like by bringing back the Emperor, like if he doesn't I don't know. It's like when this movie comes out, I don't know what the Emperor's role is. I don't know who's gonna defeat him, but like if like, I mean, I'm pretty sure like the Emperor is back to life or whatever. So like if he is, like it's gonna really contradict episode 6. So like they like it's not like J.J. Abrams made a ballsy move. Like he could have just like made Kylo Ren the villain. He could have made Snoke come back to life. He could have made Snoke Darth Plagueis or something. He could have brought Darth Plagueis back to life or something. I don't know. And even if it was a horrible movie, it wouldn't affect the other 6 movies because it's a random person. But if you bring back the Emperor, depending on what this movie does, no matter what this movie does, you're never going to watch 6 the same. Because if the Emperor like never died, like you're going to watch 6 and be like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because even like Anakin's sacrifice, it wasn't okay. It's like 30 years, and we know how it's gonna end up, and it's not gonna end up good. Like, I understand if like I understand he couldn't keep the balance forever, but we didn't even see the destruction of Luke's Jedi Order. We were just told that. It just like episode 7 was basically the beginning of episode 4. Like, we didn't see the destruction. Like, we needed to see, like, the Revenge of the Sith. Like, the Revenge of the Sith showed the destruction of the Jedi Order, which they basically just did again. They just So basically, there was a Jedi Order, it got destroyed, then it got brought back, then it got destroyed again. And now it's probably going to be brought back at the end of this. It's like, come on, that's like repetitive. But like, I mean, I just really hope it's not the same thing. Like, I don't know. With bringing back the Emperor, it's never going to make you watch episode 6 the same. It's like, okay, he didn't really die. So that's my main concern, because it's contradicting the original trilogy. It's like ruining it if they do it bad. I'm not saying they'll do it bad. If they do it bad, it will ruin the original trilogy. We can't just ignore it, because we will see that Palpatine never really died. So, and like Anakin really needs to be in this movie. I'm like, I don't know, like nothing in the, I mean, there have been some like hints as to if he's in this movie. If he ends up being in this movie, that'll be a very big surprise, and they would have done a really good job of hiding that, because like it just doesn't seem like they, like based on like the interviews and stuff, it doesn't seem like he's gonna be in this movie. But like, if he is, I would be blown away. Like that would be like a very nice surprise, and hopefully they do it right. Like hopefully it's like, okay, that was a better ending than Return of the Jedi. Which like, look, I know that's a tough thing to pull off, but I mean, if you're gonna do the same thing over, because you know Palpatine's gonna die, obviously. So like, if his death isn't better than the one in Return of the Jedi, then it's like, okay, what was the point of that? That's the thing. I'm trying to go in with high hopes. It's just tough because, you know, it's tough to go into the there's a lot of reasons why I'm not like, this is the final movie of the Skywalker Saga. And a couple things. One, George Lucas isn't doing this. The guy who created the Star Wars saga is not ending it. And we saw an interview with J.J. Abrams. He did not consult George Lucas about bringing back the Emperor. Nothing about the story. He only they only talked about like what was important to George about Star Wars, which like I don't know if they really took into heart. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, and another reason why I'm not so excited is because it was confirmed that they never had a plan for the sequel trilogy. It was confirmed that Palpatine was never supposed to be in this movie. So it's like they wrote the script from scratch. Like, that's not assuring, like, you know, okay, we haven't seen the movie yet. Sure. That's a fair point. But like, are you supposed to tell me that like I have to be optimistic for this movie? Like, if there was no plan at all since the beginning? Like, they made Force Awakens, the first movie, and didn't know where they were going next. Which, like, okay. I mean, they should know, but like, okay. They made the second movie, and when you're making the second movie that's supposed to set up the final movie, you should have an idea of where you're going. Because like, but they didn't. They just did it. And then like, they didn't even worry. Like, I don't even think any of them were thinking like, how are we going to end the Skywalker Saga? They just like made the 8th movie, because now it's like a whole big deal. The end of the Skywalker Saga. But like, if you knew that you were going to end the Skywalker Saga, like you would have planned from the beginning. Because you knew you were ending the saga. You're making the sequels. Ending it with 9, like you should have known that like this was coming, that you were gonna have to end it, and it was gonna be a big deal. But like, it's like after they made The Last Jedi, it's like, oh shoot, we have to make the final movie to tie in all these movies. It's like, and like another thing that frustrates me is when they say like, oh this movie was like J.J. Abrams would be like, this movie was a real challenge because we had to tie in all 9 movies. And I'm like, bruh, you don't have to make a movie that ties in all 9 movies. If your trilogy, you had a whole trilogy. Your trilogy could have tied in those movies. Like, you wouldn't, like, right now, like, you didn't tie in anything from the past like original films. So now you're on episode 9 and you have to cram everything in. But if you had like put a little prequel stuff in 7, a little original in 8, then like a little in 9, like it would have been fine. But like now it's like we have to tie in all the movies, it's like you're like it shouldn't be a challenge. Like that shouldn't be like, oh my god, like the final movie has to tie in everything. No, like you had a trilogy to do that. You could have started to tie stuff up in 8. Like, but you didn't. So now you have to save it all for the 9. And I know J.J. Abrams that's not his fault. That's Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger because they had no plan. But with J.J. Abrams, I mean, he did make Force Awakens, which I'm actually in the middle of it right now because I'm doing a Star Wars movie rerun. I've watched every single Star Wars movie leading up to Rise of Skywalker. Right now I'm on Force Awakens, so Thursday, which is probably today, I'll be watching Last Jedi. That'll be fun. Longest Star Wars movie, and I don't really have time. I have like a 2-hour driving lesson. Like it's like I don't know. So I have like a 2-hour driving lesson. Then I have to like get up at like 7 a.m. to like take my test. I don't know. It's like ridiculous. I'm gonna watch it during school, but yeah, with Force Awakens, it was like a New Hope all over again. And the thing is, with Force Awakens, like every time I would watch it, I would enjoy it more. I would actually enjoy it more. But today, when I was watching it, I just wasn't really enjoying it. Because, like, I don't know. I think it was, like, all the problems of the sequel trilogy. I was just like, this is where it originated. Like, I just didn't see any, like, respect to, like, the old characters and stuff. It just didn't, it was just, like, all these new characters. It doesn't feel like a sequel. It's like a good standalone movie, even though it's a copy of A New Hope. But, like, it doesn't feel like a sequel to Return of the Jedi. So that's what's very frustrating to me. And yeah, so, okay, Rise of Skywalker. We talked about Anakin. We talked about the Emperor. We talked about tying in all the films. Let's talk about C-3PO and R2-D2. Now, R2-D2 is a little bit of a wild card because we haven't seen him with the gang. I don't think he's going to be with them. I think he's going to be like completely separate, like the whole movie. Like him and like C-3PO and R2 will have a scene in the beginning and then they'll like separate. I think R2 is going to be with Luke somehow. Don't ask me how. I know he's a Force ghost, but like, I don't know. C-3PO, thank God he's getting a bigger role because like he deserves it. And like R2 should be getting a big role. Like oh my God. It's like C-3PO and R2 are probably like just as big characters as Han, Luke, and Leia. They're like just as big, you know? If it weren't for them, like they literally were the first like 20 minutes of A New Hope. They were like the whole first part of it. You know? They were like until they went to the Death Star, like cuz I mean they were important on the Death Star but not as much. But like when they were on Tatooine and stuff, like it was their story. It was really their story. So like in this trilogy they just like they were like decorations. That's what Anthony Daniels, the actor who plays C-3PO, said. They were just like decorations, which yeah, and it's like they deserve so much better than that. But I'm glad that C-3PO is going to have a big role in this movie. Hopefully it's a satisfying role. I mean, I love C-3PO. Anything with him is good. R2, they like I know they're going to respect C-3PO's character at least. They're going to try to, but like they got to make R2 is probably more important than 3PO, honestly. I don't know. Because like R2, I take that back. I mean, he's like just as important. I don't know. With C-3PO, I just hope he has a satisfying conclusion. It better not kill him. That would ruin everything. Let's talk about Lando. I think that what they're doing with Lando is that they're they're bringing him back because they killed all the original characters and they need someone to like for marketing. So they're bringing back Lando, but I think he's gonna like move forward the story. You know, it's not like he's just gonna come randomly. I'm pretty sure when they go to the desert planet, they are gonna like find Lando, and then he's gonna kind of like send them on their mission or something. I'm not sure, or like tell them where the dagger is or whatever they're looking for, the Wayfinder. I don't know. Oh yeah, by the way, we might talk about some of those leaks because I read the leaks from a while back. So, spoiler alert. But I won't really go too far into the spoilers, I don't think. But yeah, with Lando, I mean, I know like Billy D. Williams is like 83, so like I mean I know he can't do like all these action scenes, but hopefully we get a good enough time of him in the Falcon, just him with Chewie, like a scene of maybe him and Leia. I don't know if that's possible because unless they use like the footage and they're able to put it together, that would be very cool. I mean, we should. They're both like alive in terms of characters, so that would be very cool. Hopefully, he mentions Han. Like, I don't know, just Luke and Han. I'm just hoping. And Luke, Luke is like Luke. Luke is like the first like guy you looked up to if you're a Star Wars fan. Like, not me because I wasn't born in 1977. But if you were like born or if you were like alive during 1977 when the original trilogy came out, like Luke was your inspiration, you know? So like even though the story is about Anakin Skywalker, like Luke is like just as important because you were with Luke from the beginning, you know, more than Anakin. So like hopefully they do good by him. Hopefully they do good by Lando. I hope they really like acknowledge Han. That's the thing. I think they will. I feel like they will. I hope. I don't know. This movie is only like 2 hours and 15 minutes, I believe, which is like insane. Like, I don't know how they're going to bring back the Emperor and then kill him and then introduce Lando and then have a Force Ghost Luke, introduce us to the Knights of Ren, show us Kylo fixing his helmet, show the dark Rey vision, who are Rey's parents. How did Palpatine return? How did the First Order rise? What happened to the other Jedi that Luke trained? Why did Luke just want to kill Ben because he had a little darkness in him, even though he saved his father, the most evil man in the galaxy? What the heck is the deal with Snoke? How did Kylo get Darth Vader's burnt helmet? How is Rey so powerful? How does she use the Force and all that? Is Finn Force sensitive? What's the deal with Poe? Is he just a pilot? Why didn't Chewie hug Leia when Han died? Are we going to see Anakin in this movie? Are we going to see other Force Ghosts in this movie? How is Palpatine going to die? Is Kylo Ren going to get redeemed? It's just like, I feel like this movie is going to be very like plotty, if that makes sense. I feel like they're like not going to really stop, if that makes sense. I feel like there's not going to be that much like, oh yeah, who's Zori Bliss? Who's Janna? Those new characters. What are Sith troopers? Like, there's so many questions like that they have to answer in this 2 hour 15-minute movie. I think I just said questions for like 2 minutes. So like they have to answer all those, or like it won't be that satisfying. Okay, maybe not the why did Chewie not hug Leia? Like that was just like a directing mistake. That was a horrible mistake though. Like I was watching that today and I was like, how do you miss that? Like, because the next clip was Chewie being like depressed. So like, if you saw Chewie depressed, wouldn't you think, oh wait, Leia, like, I don't know. I don't know. But there's so many questions. It's only a 2-hour, 15-minute movie. I feel like the story is gonna just like keep going like this. Like, Empire Strikes Back was like a film where you had a simple plot, but like you had like time to just develop the characters and show the relationships. I feel like this movie is like gonna develop the characters like through the plot. I feel like it's gonna be very quick. Now with the Emperor, that's what gets me very, very nervous because it's only a 2-hour, 15-minute movie. Based on the trailers, we are visiting like 3 to 4 planets. And there's going to be like fight scenes, like it just looks like a long movie. And like you don't even see the Emperor in these trailers. So it's like, how much of the Emperor are we going to see? Like, Kylo and Rey are on this desert planet. Then they're on the Star Destroyer. Then they're on that forest planet. Then they go to the Death Star. Then they go to Kijimi. It's like, okay. Then like Rey's like on Octu or something. But it's like, okay. How much of the Emperor are we going to see though? Like, is he just going to be in the very beginning and then the end for the final battle? It's like that I would be very disappointed, especially since they hyped him up so much. Like, I want to see him. I don't care if he's like running the whole thing. Don't tell us. Show us the Emperor, and don't just have him sitting on his throne. Well, I mean, I guess he's gonna be like hooked up to wiring and stuff, so maybe. But like, I just want to see a good movie. I don't know. There's like. I've always said it's like weird how like it's all gonna be over, like it's like after this movie, like if you like it or you don't like it, that's it. If you have any more questions that you want to get answered, they're not gonna get answered because that's it. Like that, it's the end of the movie. Like it's a very stressful and nerve-wracking thing. Okay, so look, I am going to go into this movie once again try to go with a blank slate, but based on what they're doing, this isn't like me as like being like, this has to happen. No, this is what they're doing. Like, for example, they're bringing back Lando. So if you're going to bring back Lando, I want to see Lando in this movie a lot. Like, that's just like, that's like, I'm going into it with an open mind, but at the same time, if Lando's not in the movie a lot, I'll be upset. Like, I can't deny that. And especially with the Emperor. The Emperor is probably the biggest thing about this movie. It's like, what? Like the Return of the Jedi ending was so perfect. And, watching Return of the Jedi, like, again, like, he wasn't that big of a threat. Like he was, like, scary and he was evil and all, but, he just came in that movie. He was just more the catalyst for Darth Vader's redemption. Once we got the prequels, it started to go more into him and his history, but, like, still, like, I just, like, J.J. Abrams and all of them are, like, saying how they couldn't picture it any other way. Like, it felt right to them because they felt like it was inevitable that he came back, but like he was never part of the plan. Like, and what do you mean? Like, it was like always like it was inevitable. Like, he died. He was like, and JJ's like, I think it was pretty obvious like he needed to come back, or like I haven't seen many books where the chapters where the book ends like not tying into the chapters, and I'm like, dude, like, you don't have to bring back the Emperor. You could like maybe make like an Emperor's like contingency plan, like where like he like had like a creation or something that like that was like he like made a clone or something that was like evil and whatever, or maybe not a clone of him, but maybe he made like a robot, like something like Terminator, that like would get activated when he died, and it was like goes like all Sith Lord and stuff. But like, he didn't, or like, so like, I don't know. I just, that's the one. I'm hoping for a couple things. I am hoping that this movie does not ruin Return of the Jedi. I'm hoping that this movie does not ruin Star Wars for me. Like, when I watch the originals and the prequels, I hope it's like, oh shoot, like that's not even gonna matter. Like, oh, Palpatine dies, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. Like, also, I want this movie to end. I don't want it to end like satisfying, because it's like, okay, but why did we get this trilogy? I want there to be a reason for this trilogy. So far, I haven't seen a reason for this trilogy being made other than to make money. But like, really, like, the prequels were made to show the fall of the Jedi. You saw them to see Anakin Skywalker's progression into becoming Darth Vader. We saw the Jedi Order, how they work. We saw the Separatists. We saw Emperor Palpatine pose as Chancellor, plotting to like slowly manipulating everyone to finally rise, bring the Empire. The originals were about no more Jedi. You have Luke, who's literally like the only hope, and you have Obi-Wan, who trains him in the ways of the Force so he could take on Darth Vader and face this huge huge empire, just Luke with a small band of resistance, just to bring back that Republic, to bring back the Jedi Order. And it ended with them being successful. So it implied that in the future it would, like, you know, we didn't see them rebuild the Jedi Order, we didn't see them rebuild the Republic, but they defeated the Empire, and they were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna rebuild it. So like, that's what's implied it's gonna happen. But 7 just destroys all of that, and it's like we go back to episode 4, and it's like, so basically they set this movie up in a way where, especially since you're bringing back Palpatine, if you know, Kylo is going to get redeemed. That's not even a question. If Kylo was not going to get redeemed, the Emperor wouldn't be in this movie. They need the Emperor so Kylo could redeem himself against someone. You know? Just like they needed the Emperor so Darth Vader could redeem himself. They need Palpatine. Oh, yeah, they need the Emperor for Kylo to redeem himself. Exactly, it's the same thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just hoping, and like, I don't want this movie to end like, oh, time to rebuild another Jedi Order. Because we saw that already in 6, where you said, okay, we're going to rebuild the Republic and rebuild the Jedi Order. But you said that in 6, and then 30 years later, everything went to hell. So why shouldn't I believe, if you say like, oh, we're going to rebuild, like Rey's like, oh, I'm going to train a new generation of Jedi, like they're going to, whatever, it's like, we're going to train new Jedi and build for the future. It's like, how am I supposed to not think that in 30 years from now, Rey is going to give up on everything, go to an island and just want to die? A second order is going to rise, and then we'll have the Resistance Republic, the Renaissance, like, which is not the Resistance, not the Republic. It's something totally different, and it's like the same story again. Like, and then like, the question is, how am I supposed to not feel like that's going to happen again, since it happened in this trilogy for no absolute reason? Like, if we had at least seen the fall of the Jedi for the second time, we would have believed it. But you kind of just said it happened. So like, I strongly believe that you have to show things. Like, sure, you could have like some off-screen development, but you know, you're making a sequel to a movie, like, you know, you don't even need to watch Return of the Jedi Return of the Jedi has nothing to do with Force Awakens. It's not a sequel. Like, you need to continue the story. Like, then you could go in a different way. Like, you can, like, I understand things are gonna happen off screen. It's 30 years, but you literally like the things that happened off screen from Return of the Jedi to Force Awakens could have been its own movie. That's how like big they were. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm so nervous. Like, I'm nervous and excited, and it's like, I don't want this movie to come out because, like, I want the anticipation. I'm like, it's like, I don't want Star Wars to end, because, like, once the Skywalker Saga ends, that's, like, the end of what we, like, know for the most part. I mean, in terms of, like, movies, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like, there's no more of that. I mean, unless they make episode 10 in, like, 10 years, which I wouldn't be very surprised, even though it's the end of the saga. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's, oh my, I'm so, like, it's just, like, a lot of emotion, because I care so deeply about this. I'm a fan of the originals, of the prequels, and, I haven't been a huge fan of the sequels, so it's the final movie that's tying in everything, and, like, you can't just ignore this movie. Like, they're bringing back the Emperor. Like, oh, my head. It's so stressful. Like, oh my God. Like, I really, like, I care about it. So I don't want it to do bad. I want it to be good. I'm just gonna go into, it's like sad that we got to the point where, like, it's like this. Like, we can't just be excited about it. Like, we have to be nervous. And if you're excited for it, I'm so happy for you. But me, I'm trying to be. I want to be, but it's, like, hard when you have, like, these things in the back of your head. Like, this whole movie was just made in, like, 1 year. Like they didn't know, like, they had no idea how this thing was gonna end. They just kind of came up with it, like, after Last Jedi. So instead of setting up an ending, this is just it. Like, this one movie's gonna do it all. I mean, there's a lot to do in this movie. I'm just like, I don't know. Oh my God. I don't think it's gonna answer all of our questions. I think it's gonna leave a lot of questions unanswered. Like, a lot of questions. That's just how I feel. I feel like it's gonna leave a lot of questions unanswered. And, like, as for Luke, I really want to see Luke. There was a clip from one of the TV spots of Rey on Octu where it looked like she was on Octu with, like, a burnt TIE fighter, which, like, kind of confirmed some of the leaks about her going to Octu and kind of giving up on the Jedi Order, which it kind of looked like she was doing. She had the hood up and all. She looked all, like, done with it. And then, like, Luke comes and give her a pep talk. But, like, I'm really hoping that's not the only time Luke comes. I hope, like, this isn't, like, a halfway into the movie thing or 3/4 into the movie and Rey's about to give up. Luke comes, you could do it, and then that's, like, the end of Luke until the very end where he's, like, a Force ghost smiling. Like I want to see Luke in this movie, man. I don't want him to come in for, like, 10 seconds to give Rey an inspirational speech and then just leave until the end. Like, you have Mark freaking Hamill. Like, you have Luke Skywalker. Like, utilize him. Like, that's the thing, like, that I'm so upset about. They had these actors. Like, you had Mark Hamill, you had Carrie Fisher, you had Harrison Ford, you had Billy D. Williams, you had Anthony Daniels, you had even Peter Mayhew, rest in peace, who plays Chewbacca. And, like, you just didn't, like, put them together, which, I don't know, but hopefully, I've watched interviews and it makes me, like, wishy-washy. Like, J.J. Abrams, when I hear him, he's, like, saying how he learns from his mistakes, which is a good thing. He's saying how, like, he cares about it, has to tie up all the films. That makes me feel good. But then he's like, we're not going to please everybody. It's like, okay, but, like, why are you telling us that? Like, it's like you don't, like, or, like, and then he's like, I don't know. That was my Wookiee. That was my Wookiee Chewbacca growl. I don't know. It's like 11. What time is it? It's 11:40. But, I had to make this video because I wasn't going to upload this Friday, the day of Rise of Skywalker. So, that is all for our Rise of Skywalker discussion. We just talked Rise of Skywalker. If you joined us all the way, thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Share the channel. And I hope you guys enjoy Rise of Skywalker tomorrow. And remember, the Force will be with you always. Bye-bye.